Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back to this Pxy-VERSE, and this is live streaming a bit late at time start, but world building and setting some scenery ambience stuff. This is a quite longer, tedious project that I was doing, very interesting for sci-fi stylized stuff, but it's a starship. Actually, it's quite big, not as big as we could think, but yeah. So it's there are lots of problems here to solve. So because it's so dense in, I won't say details, right? It's quite simplified meshes, but because the spaces, the ambience needs a lot of work. So probably what I'm gonna do is that I will engage in other scenery with different approaches, and this I will sometimes it's better to revamp things from scratch. So I'm struggling here a little now because also of the Blender update, right? And I had to create a new file and bring everything from this entire these elements, right, into the new blend file made directly in Blender 4.4.0. So this is one thing that can go wrong. I've had problem with rigging. I had problems. So yes, definitely it's very dangerous, right, to be switching. So this time I've installed a portable Blender 4.4.0. So this won't auto update, and I will keep that version while building. Yes, I can make then, if when Blender 4.4.1 comes out, I can make some tests, but I'm not forced to get the new iteration, right, version. So that will be safer to work with. And I have a big question, and this is what I want to be working here. Many things I want to be working. First is this idea that yeah, actually I can do this now. It's a so gigantic scene that I think what I need to do here is start to work by links, right? And I already know how to do this because we have here this what it is done. Do we have it here installed? Yes, we have everything installed. So it will be called the edit linked library add-on. So this, let's get some soundtrack. So basically this add-on is very cool because whichever we have here can be we can access if it's linked for I don't know, some building blocks here are linked, some ambiences there. Probably this one is not. Let's see. That can probably check here. So this is part of the bridge. The dummies are linked, yeah, but not the bridge mesh itself. Yeah, the dummies, okay, but the dummies are part of architectural content, so they are linked override here for the placement, positioning on in this scene. So I'm trying to organize these things this way, right? So first thing is that because it is so big to build, it's so difficult to be working with these things all together. Of course we can isolate, but I think a better workflow at this stage would be to entirely isolate this portion here, the bridge, and try to do as best as I can from a linked file, right? That is, I need to have this into a different blend file, yeah, just for the bridge, right? And so in this bridge there will be less, the file will be much smaller. We will lose the connections, of course, but as long as I know where it fits, and this is calculable, we can calculate that, then everything can work better this way. So I can really focus, right, on this portion, not getting any kind of distraction. The problem is to do this in the current state of asset library in Blender is a bit tricky because I cannot export this to the library. I need to it's bizarre, like I need to yeah. So what I'm going to do, there are different ways. They want to solve that apparently, but this will be a problem. So I want to isolate this first. So it's all this that matters. The dummies, they are linked, so maybe they matter, maybe they don't. What is this cube? I don't know. So you're gonna, it's probably a parented to some of these things. Yeah, not sure. So I need to get this whole collection. We're gonna yeah, the other problem is that I'm struggling to find out the compositing solution for animating scenes, because okay, this is Workbench, as you can see. It's just texture, color, but it doesn't have, there's a big flaw they could fix. I don't know why they don't do nothing about that. The devs, no one seems to be interested in that, barely. We don't have for the Workbench even procedural texture. The node system doesn't work the same way, right? It's very super limited. You just have a texture, have to bake it to image texture, whichever is procedural. Of course, if you don't have an add-on, I don't have for that, so that is terrible. And even if you have the add-on, it's super frustrating anyways, I think. So of course with an add-on with automation would be better, because baking tons of textures. So this texture actually I already baked them and to start this out, but it's not enough. There need a lot more. So what I have been thinking instead is the invert, let's say like that, an invert approach, but I'm still not sure if that would be good, in part because of course this scene is gigantic. So if I place EV here, this will be very complicated to animate in this big scene. So this is why separating the scenes might be sometimes better. Another reason why it could be better, because then when you are animating, you don't need to animate in the whole story, right? Of course you can isolate, but still the scene is gigantic. So that's the idea, right? So nothing is perfect, right? So there's advantages and disadvantages. So the inverted thing would be the following, folks. Right now, okay, let's isolate this thing first, right? Can I get, okay, let's get this first. Let's try to select this stuff and isolate, right? Okay, we got some isolated stuff here. Yeah, unfortunately we don't see the space, but okay. So the thing here is that I'm not gonna save here, right? It's just this is scene 1. This, we don't need these ones. Yeah, so I just have one scene, and here I have the compositing. Okay, that's unfortunate. Apparently I've lost the compositing nodes for this. Let's go back. Maybe I have a... Maybe there is no, they are not here. Yeah, so compositing node 3. Yeah, I've lost this stuff, so they are not so complicated to make. So, but yeah, I'll try to make from scratch here. So basically, what I have been doing previously was to start with a workbench scene. So, and then get the secondary scene, a linked duplicate, as EV. And then they overlap with a multiply node, with a mixed node in the compositor, like multiple layered scenes, right? And that works, right? Okay, we already have EV here, so we're gonna got EV here. Yeah, I'm gonna get like neo Eve, neo scene, and neo 5 Eve. Okay, whatever. Neo 5 Eve. Okay. No. Neo 5 there. Eve. So this will be the original. It will use this. These settings are. I'm not sure what I want, so let's leave it like here. Transparent maybe, but the problem is that I'll have to see this as EV, of course. So I'm gonna save this. This anyways is a different version, right? I'm working on this directly from this Blender 4.4.0. So as soon as I enable this, so we can have the EV, right? So you see it's not so heavy. Yeah, the frame per FPS is bad, but this could pose some trouble. But then of course for animating we can do this. So the important thing is to be able to see an inspirational ambience. I think it's very important. And workbench could be sufficient, so we could use the solid viewport. And my idea would be to avoid baking everything. So so all this will not be here actually. Well, maybe they could be, but they will not have this. It will be different. So the purpose of the image textures for the workbench will bring not so much the textures themselves, but it won't catch procedural textures. These are no more procedural. They will be it is for the cavity and shadow and the base colors, basically. If certain element, like a character has a skin texture manually painted, it's not procedural. Yeah, so that I can indeed have. It will also work in the workbench in sync, right? Everything will be in sync, of course, but the idea to have the EV on top and then layered the workbench after, the workbench will be a complement of the EV. And in this way, we could make some tests here. Let's say that I have to turn this texture. So it's super complicated. The shading. Okay, I get here. So in this case, there is this stuff, right? I've lost the positioning. So you see that I have this. This is for workbench, but I don't want this. I actually want to. I would like to delete this, right? This will be, but let's say, because I cannot select anything else, right? But yeah, I'm gonna delete this, and this should do something. Okay. It's because, of course, this is not EV, right? So you see, workbench doesn't recognize, right? But because it's procedural, there we go. So this is wave texture, and this is also wave texture. Yeah, is the same material. Here we are still using that, but we can delete. Of course, this would make possibly navigation heavier. So what I do with the color here? There's, yeah. Here we are still looking at a real texture. Here, this one is cool to have, but I don't know why it is not. Oh, yeah, it should. Why it doesn't recognize its texture? This I don't understand. Ah, it does recognize. It is there. Yeah. But some stuff here. Nothing really. This is gonna crash anytime. No, it's lagging. Sorry folks, don't know what's. Yeah, it's processing. Alright, so this is not super cool, right? This kind of so that's cool with the previous state of the workbench. Now it sucks, right? Sort of, as we start. So this will be a good texture to maintain, right? And now what I need to check is the compositing, right? Let's see what will happen when I compose this workbench with this EV. So yeah, the cavity is not really help. Oh, because there's not. Yeah, but that will not do much to this. I had everything here preset. Well, not really. Okay, so this is annoying. Okay, let's go back to here. And so at least let's fix this one, because no, actually I'll need to make a double thing, right? So let me try to do some connection here. I'm gonna try to add driver to this. So let's see if that happens. Now we can't. Now I can't add drivers here unfortunately, but they can be copied as new drive, so you can drive other things to this but not themselves. Yeah, I like them to be matching, but unfortunately this is not gonna be possible. So let's just get everything here to some no specular light, outline maybe, no, not for this, depth of field, no. Okay, so then I pick this and try to reproduce, right, exactly the same settings. Not too hard. It's just time consuming. We don't want this, and that should be it. Let's save here. Yeah, bad that I destroyed the textures. Well, the image texture, they were saved. I have just to remember to reposition them later. So this is not super optimal what I'm doing. But here, what if I enable this? No, we don't want this. This is too dangerous. So let's find a camera here. This camera of the bridge. No, this is not. This is the right camera, so they have a no, wrong thing. Okay, now this is the active one. All right. Okay, just wanted to check if everything okay. So let's make the compositing then. Use nodes. So this is the new EV, but we are going to go to EV here. And this is what I would see. Of course, we don't have any good light here for this. You see that this thing for some reason is not very good. We have a light area center. There's a spotlight here for the. Looks like it got displaced, right? Yeah, this was the one to be actually there, and something is moving in a very awkward way. Area center, and this, yeah, so this will move to the top, maybe about here. Probably we can change this power, I don't know. There's a lot, but maybe that should work, right? Probably need more than just one here. Multiple ones, yeah, like Shift D. I'm not, unfortunately, my lighting is something that yeah, here I need to do something like a mirror thing. I like to do symmetric lighting, but I don't know, it's not like bones. The exploration of light. What I don't like is that it takes too much time, and my computer, maybe it's not about the only, it just, everything takes too long, right? So I don't, well, rigging takes too long, so, and I don't care too much. So it's something about the way I deal with this. So maybe if I practice more, I would get more attracted to it. So maybe these ones are too strong. I don't know, this should make the light more diffuse, I guess. Yeah, and less powerful, so yeah, it will diffuse the light. So I think that makes sense here. The coordinates don't make too much sense to me, but that's how they seem to work. Okay, this sounds to be okay. And for this one, what if you have like, yeah, nothing changes. Yeah, so let's leave this at 1, and now I want this to be larger, so as maybe I need, that's very strong light, so I need to, there's also something scaling. Yeah, the scale doesn't, it's the same thing I think, but it doesn't change there, so it's bizarre, right? So I don't want to change the scale of itself. This could be disk maybe. And here I totally need to get this maybe a, sounds really an absurd number, but it's not a sunlight, right? It's a, the fact that this area is particularly big, so yeah, okay. This one is not that powerful. No, it's still very powerful. Okay, let's leave it. Is it radius? Don't know about this one. Light size for ray shadow sampling rate. Oh, okay, this is specific to something. Might not be even using ray tracing. Okay, so here, yeah, not using ray tracing. Okay, so probably I've lost the lights because of the Blender version. I've lost the features, their settings. But now I'm gonna try to... Hello, welcome, Value. How you doing, bro? Welcome back. So now for the compositing, this is the... Where's the... Yeah, we'll try to place the... Yeah, so you need to duplicate this one, link copy, get workbench in the second, change this to, yeah, WB, which is workbench. Okay, it has the same settings there of the original. It's a linked duplicate, but this we change here won't change there. Double check. Yeah, this is being EV and this is being workbench. Now I want to see what will happen if when I compose EV, the first one, the main one, on top of the workbench, not the opposite as I used to do. And so we're gonna go to the compositing, get a duplicate here, change here. We're gonna get already here, let's get a color balance. We need a render. Okay, just any render will do, so this will do. Alt V, okay. It looks very dark. Lift, gamma, these are the mid-tones, I guess. And these, if I'm not wrong, these are the darks. I don't remember what was the logic, but could just quickly check. Okay, this can go in many ways. For now, this sounds to be reset this. Let's reset. Yeah, reset everything now. Control Z. Just reset this thing. This one, the lift is very, yeah, I can also change this. So this is nothing and this is some, okay, so let's get this stuff a little warmer. From the mid-tones maybe. and from here. Yeah, I think that's oh, this is always destructive. Okay, now let's get now the mix, and that will be, so this is the workbench. The workbench won't get a color balance, so here get second, first, then this we're gonna, okay, this goes in here, not mix, but actually this is be one or the other. No, we want multiply, and now they are both, but definitely the workbench is, so probably I need something to get this one is being too dark for, so we're gonna get exposure, something about this multiply that, or maybe it's the order. This one is being too dark. Ah, this one is okay. So this thing is not good, right? So this multiply is making everything too dark, and yeah, it's doing something horrible in this order. And no matter, actually the order doesn't matter too much. Strange. Okay, so this sort of ruins the combination. So something, let's do the if I invert, no, it matters because the compositing on each one is not the same. Yeah, it depends on which one we are for the rendering, the final render. So yeah, sounds familiar, but something is really not working with this, right? Might be learning Rigify to master it for custom Rigify. Yes, Rigify. So that there are plenty of tutorials there for making, but no tutorial will really teach how to make like what I call the real custom Rigify, which will be like more advanced, will be involving more scripting. And scripting for Rigify particularly, which would be the feature sets, right? So yeah, maybe this is for the future. Like Cloud Rig, it's a feature set, right? And that will be cool, like you make your own rig types, but actually there are other ways around, right? My recent research investigation in that making the add-ons, right? So yeah, already to learn Rigify for the current presets, it's time consuming. That's a lot of work, right? Getting familiar to all those things really take time. I have difficulty addressing that because I don't really like the solution they have for the, I key, F key system, right? I think it's a convention. I don't know if that's like that on other animation software or just a Blender thing, but I don't really find it attractive for 3D animation actually. So I don't know if I understand it's a solution, a valid solution, but personally I found when I've learned how to make a simultaneous I-key with tweakers, then why doing F-key I-key switch? No need for that. So but this is personal, so that's and then turns out that it's also not about retargeting so much, right? You can do retargeting directly to I-key, and you don't need the F-key I-key switch and the target chain or the target bone layer. Don't need that for doing retargeting. There are other means of doing retarget, so it's not a question of good retargeting, and it's not a question of good 3D animation. So it's just a technical choice. And the problem with current Rigify is that we don't have the possibility to change those presets, the control rig, right? There are some settings we can change, but this basal structure we can't change. We can't unless we go deeper. I find this super limiting, unfortunately. But maybe when comes finally the rigging nodes, I don't know, maybe 5 years from now, perhaps, I don't know, then maybe that will be changing. At that point I already have learned something about making feature sets, so I intend to have my own feature set. But before I get a feature set, if I'm able to do this in the future, I will have I will have already something like an add-on that would automate the deform rig, the helper deform rig, the control rig the way I want. So instead of having a feature set, because this needs apparently learning scripting for rigging in Blender specifically for Rigify add-on, and that should be just a new layer of thing. But for who is beginning with Python scripting is like me, is just too much overwhelming. So step by step, right? But I'm not doing those things now. I have more important things to do. I would like to have time, but I don't. I need to focus. Okay, so here I need to understand why this is too dark. Doesn't make sense to me. Here it doesn't seem that dark. And let's see what we got here. No, maybe is that just this shadow? Yeah, could be this shadow. Let's copy this value here. Let's paste that here, and let's get here and see. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go back here and compositing, and let's re-render. What's happening here? No, this. Then we got here actually goes here. Let's save. Let's render this. I think it's a good thing to to learn Rigify, so it's a good investment, especially if you are willing to explore the presets do, right? Okay, so apparently we got what's going on? This is EV. Oh no, this is it's compositing two EVs. No, don't. We want this. Okay, let's go back. Now it will compose EV and interesting, right? So now it's pure EV with the color balance here, right? And this should be yeah, now this is not so dark apparently, and we can have here, what if we connect here? Yeah, so it's darkening. So it's something about the multiply thing, right? Okay, let's duplicate this, and no, the helps doesn't help. And if we do the invert here, yeah, in the case of the multiply, yes, just the it's like pretty much the same result, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we can test this, right? Or can't we? Yeah, it takes a while to I think it's too much. Yeah, this is a bad preset. I want something simpler here. Don't need all that. So this is fine. And let's get so maybe I need to make up my mind about the multiply, but I don't know other stuff. Let's just try again the exposure thing and gamma. Yeah, maybe gamma is better. Okay, let's try this. But then why would I even... Oh, okay, of course I would compose the workbench because of the cavity features made, not even the colors in this case, because these will be horrible colors, right, after this explosion, right? The other solution would be to right, this is doing barely nothing, right? Either it's darkening or it is... Yeah, so this is bad. Let's get the something else then. Darken. Multiply, we'll do that. Color burn, lighten, but I need some place where I can actually spot the cavity stuff. Screen, color dodge, no. Add, no, add is to overlay. Overlay is a bit like multiply. Soft light, no. Linear light, no. Difference, no. Then those things start to go crazy. So essentially, yeah, could saturate. Well, that no, it's not. It's really for the, not for those features. So screen seems to be a bit more reliable. Screen or lighten. If I get some value like 0.7, that could be okay. Screen, that might work. Then now I don't need this. Let's look for a place where we could find the use for the cavity. Okay, we don't touch this. Well, it's not. This is just visual. Okay, so the cavity is be showing here. Okay, we see ridge. Okay, I'll get a lot of this valley, that's nice. It's mimics some sort of, how they call, ambient occlusion, right? Let's get this ridge here, and it's better on some more complex geometry than this, right? Yeah, here for example you see a lot of stuff. Yeah, let's see. Unfortunately here for this texture is a bit too dark, so I don't see where there would be more candidates for that. Ah, here could be a good candidate. Unfortunately I'm taking off the camera of its place. Here there are some excessive amount of geometry, so let's try here. Yes, definitely here's a good place to check. I want to see if those effects will appear and how they will appear. Shadow doesn't, of course, because this is not affecting this. Let's just check from here. Now let's leave the shadow as this. Now let's recall this camera to here. Can also, what about outline? No, it's not in use, right? double checking. Yes, so let's see. It's composited. Of course, this place is not harmonious with the color balance, right? So that doesn't apply very well to and now let's check the strangely this is workbench, wrong setup. Okay, let's do it again. It was again two workbenches rendered, bad choice. It's very different. Alright, so let me get this is why the color balance was not working. So now I've just lost it, so I'll have to reestablish. Okay, I don't seem to get the best one here, but anyways, this is the workbench. This is the EV, and this is the workbench composed with. So if we have here, we'll lose some details of the. We see this line there would help. Let's see. Yeah, so you see no more of this. We have other shading and lighting, but not these strokes here. They simply vanish, right? And so the beauty of the workbench is for. So I'm not gonna use the workbench so much for the colors, but for the cavity and stuff, right? Colors and texture. But it will be nice if I can at least not disrupt the colors or improve the EV colors. So that will be tricky. But in this case, I think I'm getting the cavity results, and I'm getting some improvement of the colors slightly. It's a little burned, but still, yeah, acceptable, and probably something I could do better for this composition here. Yeah, I'm not having a good time with those today. Wait, I'm not seeing the... Where are the elements there? They vanished. Yeah, now suddenly the elements that... Those lines, everything, they vanish from the... They should appear from the... Oh no! There, EV, it was the wrong scene, there we go. It was rendering 2 EV. Don't know how that happened. Now we need to check this. Okay, now things are better, as they are supposed to be. Okay, so there are more nodes that we can implement, right? But for now, and so the cool thing is that if I now my first scene is on EV, so I can quickly assess the texture. I can quickly assess the procedural texture of everything, but not from the solid viewport, although it's still working because I have baked textures here. But let's go back now to the beginning. So EV, there we go, we have access to the textures, to the procedural texture. So this tapestry is procedural, and we see that it's not being disrupted by the... So I don't need to toggle the scene to, like, that would, the second one will be EV, so, or toggle the render engine, which so I can just animate here. Oh, let me quickly check what I have here, because here the compositing, even if you do on camera always, this will not compose multi-layered in compositing. Unfortunately, there's no support for it yet in Blender. I wish there were like an improved compositor. There's this shadow buffer full may result in missing shadow. No, it's not. The viewport composite setup not fully support. Yeah, this what I'm doing is not support from this viewport shading of compositing, right? Render preview. So we can't. Here I'm not seeing the double compositing. I'm just seeing the EV, and here the workbench. And so this is slightly better. Yeah, I'm paying, the cost is that maybe I'm destroying some stuff here, but my purpose here, yeah, I'm losing perhaps a little quality in the colors, or I have to rework them in order to... But the final render is not this one. This is just EV. The final render is also not this one. The final render here would be this. Let's see what it gives us. Yeah, maybe a little better than the EV, but here we can, of course, try to, oh, the space is just because we need some, I need to reorganize the stars, right? It's we can even bring a third one, maybe we can bring us cycles. So I have lost my, we need some transparency, some tricks here to, I'll have to recover from the other file. It's more complicated. I don't know by heart here, but should be fine. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, so here probably I should be, multiply will just, it's not working in the setup for some reason. Maybe it's something about Blender 4.4.0. Maybe they messed this up. And mix is not going to do what I want. It's either one or the other. It's not like these other ones. They really multiply and family. Those ones will actually merge the stuff employing. So it's like more synergetic. Yeah, the color sucks, right? But we can I'll probably, but I'm getting what I want. So it's just a color balancing, shadow, stuff like that. It probably has some solutions by scene, of course, because we'll have to combine a lot of stuff here. Also it's in taking the lighting from the blue strong light that I have in that place. So this is why it's, yeah. And so the cool thing is that on EV I can play with the lights directly, so this is important. So this is why this is an improvement, I believe, on my setup. And the cool thing is that, yeah, I can directly see the lighting, so the effects. I can immediately see the procedural texture. And if I want to animate here, I can do that, right? So this is very, very nice. And I don't know why the space I'm not, yeah, because I've lost the node tree for the space world. And this is not space world, this is a globe of space. Hold on, folks, I'll have to be right back. This was my test that I needed to do today, and it worked with some drawbacks, but I'm not sure. Probably fixable, probably improvable. I'll be, let's see here, where's the, yeah, give me 5 minutes. So Alright folks, so now we're gonna do other stuff, other tests or other develops in this the texture of the planet completely gone nuts. Now that I've checked, yeah, so there is a thing here that is annoying, is that of course this texture will be affected by the, well, I don't see it here. It starts to die off, right? Because this one is blank, right? So it's like overriding. It starts to mix generic colors, so it will lose a bit of its peaks unless I do something special on this image texture here for yeah. So in the end, baking would still be better for the colors. But let's say like this, that could be a secondary workflow, like, oh, if you can bake in the end, right? So that might be more doable than baking everything while the work is in progress. It's not worth it. It's too dangerous to have to be doing things over and over again, and I hate this. So this is why I want the certain solutions to be more automated, right? So this will be, it's like the end result is not horrible. It's a little worse, but for the original procedural texture, but it still works. So we can improve it by baking in the end, right? If we really want to get better results. So let's now try to get the nodes back to this file, right? So for the getting the nodes back here, we will require to, yeah, this one already had a texture, so I've deleted them, but we can recover them, right? I think it's just this one, yeah, these two, right? So if I can remember their names, I can try to recover them. They would be the same, so it will be like image texture here, something like brown, yeah, should be texture brown, maybe it's this one, yeah, probably it's this one. So yeah, here we go. So it sort of matches, right? So it can probably help, so I can leave it here. I don't know about the others. No, the other is purple, yeah, so yeah, no, it's exactly this one, right? Then we can also go to this one and do the same thing. So image textures. I see how annoying this is. So this is because Workbench doesn't support nodes, right? This, is that matching? Yeah, it's matching. Matching more than the other, right? The other is just some stuff here that looks like flame. Yeah, it's not matching perfect, but this probably will give a better rendering results than the blank one. Let's make a test here, folks. So I've just recovered some things that I messed up. I can rebake the brown maybe, but that was not for today, so certainly not for, it's not what I want, right? I just, that's kind of interesting, right? Let's check the compositor here. So you see, this is what we see here, this is what we see there. Then if we get both, then we get, yeah, so here you're gonna see their combination, right? Why are you too dark, EV, right? EV is always too dark, right? But okay, so there is a cool color thing here. Let's see if I can find it. Can sort of solve this tone map. Let's bring it this stuff. So let's hide this for a moment. Pure EV tone map. So here the idea is this it's something about this first node. The rest is not so. This is some sort of color correction. It doesn't interest me. Contrast is bizarre. It starts in one way, then it suddenly has a low spike, and then can be useful. But the important is, as soon as we get this for some reason, see how it brightens up everything. So it's very economical, and we can get this intensity one. Then yes, then from here we could try to play with the contrast, and then we might want to adjust this, but I don't see the point here. So yeah, so it's for this. If I don't have this, it's like that. It's horrible, right? Despite the lightings. And then I can get a color balance, which, oh yeah, we need to place it here, right? The color balance can do everything, but it's not so, yeah, it's not so easy, because it'll get contaminated by the color. I'll need to have like 2 of them, right? Yeah, it's bizarre, right? It's not I don't like the idea, so I prefer to use this one. I think sometimes it works better than bright stuff, like we can try to get brightness contrast. Yeah, this, if we can't play correctly with that, that should. As you see, I'm not being very able to get anything good from this, so I don't know. Let's get the other is trying to stack a gamma with the order. I think doesn't matter for this particular case, with a exposure, right? So if we get a gamma, we can reduce this and get, yeah, the doesn't look quite right, like it grays everything. Let's try to compare here. Yeah, it's about the same thing, right? It's not. It's hard to. I need a switch to visualize this properly, to compare, right? Let's do a switch, and then there's the exposure. The exposure seems to be the best. Interesting. And of course we can try to combine with a gamma here for a bit more contrast. Why not? and in this case the tone map is like I like the yeah, actually this seems to be a good combination, but we don't know yet the result with the workbench. So here is using screen. Let's try to get the multiply. No, it will kill the, it will be I think a terrible idea to try to get after this anything like that, like that will be too explosive to well, can always test. And I don't see anything. Okay, here we go, we see. Yeah, there are some... They don't really do much to... Ah! Yeah, actually this is... good. Aha! So, yeah, I was wrong. So apparently it's not so destructive. Actually, it gets much better after we get some... So I think, okay, these are the darks lift. These are the mid-tones. And these are the lights, so you can get this maybe warmer. This you can get and here I can stack all the multiply that I want, but I need to crush some of this exposure. And now let's try to make the comparison between a tone map. So for this I need a switch, yeah, switch like that. So it's either this or that, and of course we need to bring here. No, not this adaptive. You see, with much less effort we get more or less the same result. It's just might be a little less versatile. So if I get like, yeah, let's place 1 and let's get some contrast. Don't seem to be working. What's going on? It's not responding. Oh yeah, it's they are invert. Okay. So 1. Then here we don't care about these others. color correction, adaptation. I think this is for more realistic stuff. For cartoony stuff, I think it's not very important. So this is a burst of light, right? Very solid here. So we need to be careful about this value. And if we leave the contrast at 0, it's like you see, so it's even better here, and we can play with the contrast to get some cool effects. Yeah. Might be a bit more complicated to understand, but for me, I think it's well, we can get some good result with that. So can we get this kind of result with... Yeah, it's barely the same thing, right? I seem to have more... Yeah, the colors are sort of explode, but it's a bit more... I have a ton of exposure here, right? Both are difficult to get. Now this one has a better result, so yeah, so this is all right. I think in the end I will prefer this one. I think it gives, it's a bit easier to understand, right? And that's it. Then we have here, we can use the whole multiply stuff and it seems fine. Screen in this case will not work anymore. I have to turn this off. Color dodge, no, just multiply. What about these others? Yeah, just multiply. Then here we want to, yeah, don't need the switch anymore. We're gonna we can have a variation, right? Instead of adjusting these things like crazy, we can just have a switch from here. Usually you can also use a Kuahara in the end, is kind of good, but here we're gonna just try to get something like Yeah, so here it's tough to decide, but essentially we get the without the switch we have this super dark thing, right, which is not good. Let's recover the nodes for the EV space and the compositing. I failed to do that last time, so I'm gonna try to... Wow, what's that? Alright, so this is the shading. I wasn't able to import those things. We need to recover this, and for the compositing there's also, yeah, two things here. Couldn't append, I don't know what happened to the... Okay, let's try. Like they didn't show us. Should be node 3, right? Okay, we have this one, dual compositing. What's all that now? Ungroup, how the... Yeah, it's also hue saturation, right? Okay, so this was just for the ancient workbench. And there's just switch, right? Switch. Alpha over, I was still using a... This works as a mix. And then you have a Quahara, which you can reuse here. Yeah, let's use this. Okay, here the node thing. This was the EV, and for some reason I was getting... I'm trying to understand. Oh yes, oh yeah. So on EV, because to have some fake, not fake, some ambient occlusion trick from EV. So this is a pass thing, and I can already get it from here. Let's make the ambient occlusion pass. I don't remember this setting. Okay, maybe a generic setting. Okay, so that means that now I have this ambient occlusion. I can totally get this. So this is for the view. Multiply from the... Okay, I have a gamma and exposure. I say that those ones I didn't need too much. Let's get this one. And yeah, actually let's get this. Oh, there's also an posterize. Okay, all this is interesting. I'm gonna image. Okay, get all that. Okay, we'll get. I just didn't remember all those sets. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm gonna bring this to. Oh, this is a rerouter thing. Okay, this is for the. Okay, I'm gonna bring this to the top. And yeah, whatever. The ambient occlusion stuff, we will. Yeah, let's delete this stuff. We'll just. Image, okay, get this. So yeah, we can place this inside this group. This is another category. As this multiply for. Okay, so all this is the. So I don't want this thing. The Kuahara. Okay, get here. We gonna. Of course, it's not compositing correctly. We need the EV. What is this? Why I have nothing here? Okay, here I got something. Okay, this is the posterized thing. Okay, I remember that. And this is the. Of course, we need to connect here. We're gonna address those things later. For some reason this is not doing. Yeah, it's this thing, right? The posterize here is just too brutal. Strange. Okay, and this is the one that I have, but I was using its I was using its stuff after that. Then we multiply. Okay, let's make a new switch here. Get this. Okay. The ambient occlusion. Yeah, every time I multiply, it doesn't work. It's like I have to readdress this. Very rare. I'm not seeing the ambient occlusion doing anything here of special. Have to address that later. So then we go here and it gets too dark, then we get here. Okay, that's solved the thing, but then we need to include the Kuahari has a very little impact here. For some reason. I could try to bring this out of this place. It's like this is doing nothing, just ambient occlusion. Oh yeah, we need some multiply. Has little effect indeed. Don't see anything here. Yeah, so this will require some, or maybe it's bugged, so it doesn't seem to do anything here. Well, let's just ignore this. Yeah, so this is the last one that I've checked. So all this doing in the beginning, they don't, not, maybe they are not necessary to customize here. We can, except for the color balance. So that means if I just mute this, Let's see what those other can do. Yeah, not too bad, but nothing super interesting as well, so let's leave it like that. So yeah, okay, we recovered one node system. Tempting for the workbench. Let's see what we did here. Darks, intermediate. Yeah, I'm not gonna care about this setup. So now just the shading of the world, the stars. So this I probably have somewhere else. EV start, okay, we got it. But it doesn't get. So yeah, that's what's happening. I try to append it, doesn't come. So I have to try to rebuild. It's not too hard. It's actually relatively simple, but we'll need to be on EV, and we don't want. We want scene world, and that's it. Always. No, we don't want this. And what is? Now I have something special for the compositor of the space. Yeah, I had. Alright, so that will be more complicated, folks. So I think for today is this. I wanted to do more the modular stuff, but that will be for another session. At least I've started to scratch my head over this new setup. We got one upgrade, which was making the EV scene first and then the workbench. I think this was smarter for animating the scenes with the proper ambience, so that you can use the for EV when we can just have procedural textures like here, and this doesn't need to be baked, although some of them are. You can ready access from the first scene, and then we don't care about the other. We'll only show on compositing and final compositing of the rendering. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Take care and happy blending. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, I'll continue doing this, but then next time I want to go modular, and we'll make some sci-fi corridor crazy stuff from some inspirations, and then maybe bring the characters in for some future preparation. Take care, folks. See you soon, maybe. And thanks for watching.